one party in particular I'll mention right now, actually. I'm suing the UK. Very surprisingly, when I first got into talks with his name is very fancy, so it's hard to say. Preston Byrne. Honestly, I cannot pronounce his name. It's Byrne. Byrne? Byron. I want to say Brine, but that's not correctly. So he reached out, and the idea is that Ofcom is infringing the sovereign immunity of the United States of America by threatening to fine and I think even incarcerate. I think that's one of the points is that in my letter, Ofcom says we can jail you. Well, a foreign government threatening to incarcerate an American and fine an American business in the United States impugns upon the national sovereignty of the United States of America. So therefore, it is a federal deprivation of rights case. And while we're talking, he was basically trying to find co-defendants. I don't want to name the full list of people who backed out, but I am rather disappointed in them because there was one guy in particular who would have been very funny to have. I feel like it was going to be like a triangle. It was going to be Kiwi Farms being half politics, half retard. You got 4chan being full retard, and then you had another site that was full politics. That would have rounded things out quite nicely, but they didn't want the heat. Well, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. I live in the heat. I roll the boulder up the hill and the heat. And when they said 4chan wanted to join, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, that's really funny. So it's been very strange, by the way, to see emails when I wake up, check my mail, and I see that I have correspondence from Hiroyuki Nishimura. I'm like, oh, geez. Fun times. The man of myth and legends that I've only heard very, very bad things about from oh god, what was his name? The pig farmer, Farmer Jim, not the Medicare Jim, the other one. I forgot his fucking name. It's been so long. Um. So yeah, 8chan Jim. Jim Watkins. Watkins, of course, Chad. Of course. How could I be so naive? How could I forget my good friend Jim Watkins? Anyways, So Preston is very interesting as a person. Apparently, he already had a reputation as being a free speech guy, and he is probably one of the only people in the entire world. I say that, but I know it's not true. He is a UK solicitor. He went over, I think, I don't want to say where because I don't know if it's correct. I don't want to get it wrong. His biography wrong for him, but he went to the UK and he became a solicitor, which means that he's an attorney in the UK. And then, for whatever reason, I guess he just decided that the UK was shit. He came back to the United States. He's like, well, I've already got a legal education. I might as well become a lawyer in the United States, too. So he became a lawyer in the United States. And that means he's a solicitor in the UK and a lawyer in the US, which is a very strange and rather unique distinction. Probably not many of those in the world, but it does put him in a position where he is probably one of the most suitable candidates to launch a lawsuit like this. Also joining the case, by the way, is Ron Coleman. Ron Coleman is profoundly Jewish. Very happy to have him on the team. He's very aware of the reputation of both sides, by the way. He's not surprised. But he is a proper free speech defender. And he has I believe the famous case that he went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And it was that there was a band that was denied a trademark for their band name. It was a group of Asian people that decided that they would call their band the Slants. They tried to trademark or copyright their name, the Slants, with the USPTO, I believe it was. And they said, no, you can't do that. That's racist. Ron Coleman said that's free speech, took the Slants all the way up to the Supreme Court, argued successfully that the trademark office has absolutely no right to say what is and is not acceptable speech, what cannot be trademarked based off how offensive it is, and he won. So now the Slants is copyrighted or trademarked or whatever, and he's still in the game for the cause, for the good fight. So Very, very cool. He has such a reputation that when I mentioned him to Harden, he got excited. He's like, "Oh, he's the slants guy." So, very. I'm obviously I'm very pleased. Suing the honestly, I think it's one of those things that you think about at night, right? You have these big fantasies of like I think this is a male only thing. So if you're a woman, you have no, capacity to empathize with this. But men, I think we all have those things where something really cool happens and we get to be a hero, right? We get to step up to the plate and be involved in something really cool. I think suing the UK is something that I've had fantasies about. Like, God, if only I could just humiliate the entire country of the United Kingdom. That would just be so cool, chat. And alas, many years later, it's happening. It's really happening. And it makes me extremely happy that I've been losing weight for the past couple months because if I have to show up at the fucking Supreme Court and I'm close to 300 pounds, that would just be tragic. Especially standing next to a Japanese person. I'm sure he's quite thin indeed. So I'm already more than halfway there. So got a good head start on this. I knew it was coming. It's the thing. I saw it coming. I was like, I better get it done. I'm not on Ozempic. I'm doing it literally by just cutting out 7,000 calories a week for my diet, and it is awful. It sucks. It's you have to constantly worry about how you're gonna fit things into the budget, and it's just so dreadful. And I can't wait to not have to lose weight anymore. I can just maintain. Um, how small are my meals? I don't have meals to give you an idea. If I eat anything more than 500 calories at a time, it's a special day, basically. All right. Um, by the way, there's a thread for it in the locale and locale LLP board, but I've noticed that many people, when they talk about this, just say 4chan is suing the Kiwi or suing Ofcom, which I should have expected. Elon Musk, in particular, replied flame emojis to a post that said 4chan is suing the United Kingdom. Went specifically out of his way to find a tweet that doesn't even mention us, even though we're literally the only other plaintiff on the docket. But alas, what did I expect? And what's really sad is that I went to 4chan for the first time in a long time, and I went to the two boards I thought would be talking about it, which was Pol and G, and there was no real discussion about it. And they're the co-defendant, but 4chan really sucks now. you know, I was really hoping to see like some invigorating comic, some hopium, and the only threads I saw had like fewer than 10 posts. And the ones that had more than 10 posts were just people seething about me personally and how angry they were that I was involved in anything. And people saying, like, he's saying that he's free speech, but he's not a big fan of lolicon. How can he say that he's a pro free speech if he is saying you can and can't masturbate to? I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'm not reading 4chan anymore. Oh well. Okay, what was it? Next. Oh, Reddit has figured out about this. I want to read their comments because it's very funny. Had never heard of Kiwi Farms. Browsed over to it. Hot garbage. 131 updates. This only has 300 updates in our technology. Everyone's been screaming about the fucking Ofcom shit for months. Someone actually steps up to the plate and says, look, we're going to take care of this. Don't you worry. We got the dream team of lawyers. We have the case. We're gonna make moves and prove once and for all that Americans don't have to fear the English. And they're like, oh no, that's rather problematic. Oh no. This person says it's so much worse. They've harassed people to the point they've committed suicide. District Chap says they're one of the few places on the net that genuinely deserves to be legislated out of existence. Their entire function is to find vulnerable people and push them until they take their own life. It's sickening. Someone says, don't forget that Reddit is also a website that falls under this category. But then ZZ9 replies and says, but that's chaos's entire purpose. Basically, take the worst 0.1% of Reddit users. That's the entire site. I think we're better than 99% of all Reddit users, to be quite honest with you. Heartbreaking, the worst person you know has a good point. Not an exaggeration either. Kiwi Farms is quite possibly the most hideously vile place on earth. Yeah, in Syria, where like the ISIS terrorists were setting children on fire and decapitating people with rusty knives and drowning priests on Easter Sunday and rounding up all the Druze women to be sex slaves and destroying ancient temples because Islam prohibits all other forms of religion, and also basically just wipe the Yazidi people that have existed for thousands of years completely off the face of the fucking planet. But have you seen how they use the T slur on Kiwi Farms? Oh, geez, it's really bad. It's really bad. And then some people being pessimistic about it. I love this. The exact people fighting the age verification that the people fighting the law don't want to be associated with. Thankfully, not the Fox. Only sane people here. Because even this guy, I'm shocked that there are people here siding with censorship in the UK's attempts to tear down the lowercase I internet. Which one? Not the Fox says the trouble with fighting for human freedom is that one spends most of one's time defending scoundrels, for it is against scoundrels that oppressive laws are first aimed, and oppression must be stopped at the beginning if it is to be stopped at all. Only person that gets it. Everybody else, they pray for the boot. They love the boot. They want to lick the boot. They want to eat the boot, but not going to let that happen. Sorry, Redditor. You have to wait until I'm dead before you can get that tasty, tasty boot.